gruesome moments on paternity court.
Subconsciously, I was trying to try to seduce him. I was wearing inappropriate things around him.
And this is holding
Melanie.
As soon as she put
It
the baby
looks
in my-
like you're looking at her in a loving way.
No, I was looking like I gotta go.
Get ready for a jaw-dropping episode of Paternity Court's most shocking cases. Miss Morrow's 30-year-long lie comes to light as she confronts a family secret that'll leave you on the edge of your seat. Is the man she believed to be her dad her true biological father? Or is it his own brother, the defendant, Mr. Curry?
Now, Mr. Curry, you admit to sleeping with the plaintiff's mother one time after a wild night of partying.
Yes,
but
Your
you
Honor.
say you don't believe you're her biological father because there were other possibilities as well.
Yes, Your Honor.
The truth unravels further as the plaintiff recounts the emotional roller coaster of discovering her true paternity. She had been led to believe David Curry was her father, growing close to his family and attending significant events together. However, it took a DNA test to shatter her long-held beliefs.
Like, why not say, I don't know who your father is? Why say this David Curry is my father? From the time 15, you let me meet him, go to his mother's funeral, meet his family, spend Thanksgiving with his family. She would never have told me the truth until this David finally decided he wanted to do a DNA test.
The situation is fraught with confusion, as multiple men are considered potential fathers. And even the DNA test with Amanda's believed father, Kenneth, faces uncertainty due to an imperfect sample. The court relies on DNA diagnostics to perform testing, and Dr. Baird's expert opinion reveals that the sample was not ideal for accurate results.
So, as you can see,
Very
that
good.
sample was likely compromised because it was not sent in a timely manner.
Right.
So we did have the man you believe to be your father tested again under the right conditions, and we'll have that result later, okay?
As the pieces of the puzzle fall into place, the defendant finds himself pondering the slim chance that an anguished woman might be his daughter. With a resemblance to his family and even his baby pictures, doubts arise about the man who wants nothing to do with the situation. It's an emotional roller coaster as the truth unfolds.
I also look a dead ringer for my mother, so it's hard for me to compare myself to anybody. But when I looked up this other man who didn't want anything to do with any of this, I pulled up his picture online, and I think I look like him. But it's my baby pictures, I look like him. But he wants, when I called him, he said, yeah, I know, but I don't want my family knowing anything. I don't want any part in this.
Amidst the revelations and emotions, Amanda uncovers an acknowledgement of paternity signed by the guy at the podium. But he never took the DNA test. The absence of his name on her birth certificate left her feeling embarrassed throughout her life, even during her wedding. Judge Lake reassures Amanda that she has nothing to be embarrassed about, offering understanding and support.
It has been determined that Mr. David Curry is not your father. Amanda, Mr. Kenneth Curry is not your father.
Are you ready for this episode of epic twists and turns? Having tested two potential fathers previously, she now claims her 1-month-old son's real father is her mother's friend, Mr. Spence. The courtroom erupts with gasps and excitement. As the truth unfolds, shocking revelations surface about the complex relationships involved, leaving everyone on the edge of their seats.
Mr. Spence, you're a friend of Miss Kavanaugh's mother and say her daughter made several attempts to have sex with you. Then after a lapse in judgment, you admit you did sleep with her. Now you say there's a chance you could be Malcolm's father. Miss Kavanaugh,
Yes, Your Honor.
your mother's friend?
Yes, Your Honor.
Miss Kavanaugh's mother, Miss Jenkins, takes the stand. She reveals a shocking twist, admitting she knew about her daughter's attempts to pursue Mr. Spence. The audience gasps in disbelief, and tensions soar even higher.
How I found out, one day Megan was angry with me and we had kind of a little tiff or whatever. It was kind of a big tiff, but when we did, she blurted out that you were right, and I did sleep with Ken.
Really?
He eventually did come clean and tell me the truth, and he told me the same story that he told you today, Your Honor, that she was coming on to him.
The plaintiff's sister takes the stand, shedding light on the complicated situation. She reveals that her mother and the defendant shared a close bond, and she witnessed Megan getting money from him secretly. The revelation of young mommy's intimacy with grandma's friend came to light because of her sister's honesty.
You did admit that in
But
court.
he is a grown man. He could have told me no.
It goes both ways. What would you like to add, Mr. Smith?
First of all, I didn't mean for this to happen. Yes, I got weak. Yes, I am a man. Yes, I could have told you no. I told you no thrice. As far as the baby being mine, I don't know. That's why I'm here to clear this up.
Baby mama admits that Mr. Scott is also a potential father, and he is present for the paternity test. She explains that their relationship started casually, but quickly became intimate. They used condoms, except for one intoxicated night during the window of conception. The court hears more shocking details, intensifying the gruesomeness.
We understand that you had a sexual relationship with Miss Kavanaugh,
Yes, ma'am.
and it was during the window of conception. Do you agree with that?
Yes, ma'am.
You were not using protection?
I use protection every time. I don't recall, not using protection.
Malcolm's mommy admits that she had been heavily dependent on alcohol during difficult times. Ellery, her sister, and Mr. Scott's ex, confirms that Megan was always drinking. Despite the audience gasping, Megan states that there's one more possibility, keeping everyone on the edge of their seats, eager to hear the gruesome truth.
When it comes to the paternity of 1-month-old Malcolm Kavanaugh, Mr. Scott, you are not his father. Mr. Spence, you are not his father.
Miss Taylor was not ready to step back and dragged the defendant to the court to prove that he fathered her 3-month-old daughter. To fully use her anger, she also sued him for $2,256 for childcare expenses that she had to bear alone. Now, to win her right, a DNA test is required.
Mr. Brown, you say Miss Taylor is obsessed with children and has baby fever.
Yes.
And you believe she may have already been pregnant by another man the first night you had sex with her.
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Miss Taylor, what exactly has Mr. Brown done for your baby since she's been
He
born?
haven't did nothing for her. All he did was bought her 2 packs of cheap diapers.
The plaintiff made a hard attack on Mr. Brown by calling him a miser, as he didn't do anything good and bought just 2 sets of cheap diapers for the baby that only gave her daughter a rash. So, the defendant then defended himself against this.
Bottom line is, you say no protection was used, you say you did.
Yes.
How did you guys even meet?
I met him at the club. It was right after my 18th birthday, and I went to the club and I was drinking and dancing with my friends. And he came up to me and was like, "You're beautiful, and I like to get to know you." And we went back to his place.
Well, she was more asking me to come back to my place.
No, I wasn't, Your Honor.
First, buying cheap diapers is shameful. Second, they have different statements about using protection. Don't know where that's gonna lead. Next, the plaintiff said that she met Mr. Brown on her 18th birthday at a club, and that's where the trouble started.
I go back to his place and we got into it.
She kept asking me about, like, hey, do you like babies?
No, I was not, Your Honor. We didn't
I'm
even
like, I
talk.
like babies. This is my first time meeting her. She talking about, oh, do you like babies? Or how do you feel about babies? I'm thinking that she was already pregnant.
And yet you still went ahead and had sex with her.
Yes.
That should have been a note to self.
Oh, it's gonna be a tough one. Not one statement of theirs matches with each other. Then, the judge asked the plaintiff to explain more about their relationship, and she said that it was her preference to have an older man, but she was disappointed. Upon this, Mr. Brown attacked her with strong allegations.
The first time we used a condom. The second time we
If I was already pregnant, how come my baby 3 months?
I've been trying to figure it out. The third time the condom broke,
The condom broke.
yes.
So, in fact, you could
And then she-
potentially be
And then she kept
Melanie's
saying,
father.
keep going, keep going. I was like, no.
Protection or not, these two are making us swing badly with their lies. Then, the judge asked Miss Taylor about the pregnancy, and she said that the defendant was present at the hospital and left for a smoke, but never came back, and showed picture proof.
This is a picture here of you,
Right.
and this is holding
Melanie.
Melanie.
As soon as she put
It
the baby
looks
in my-
like you're looking at her in a loving way.
No, I was looking like I gotta go.
I'm trying so hard to be patient, Mr. Brown. You more immature
Then the rest
than an
of them.
18-year-old that she could have dated.
Is he negating everything in this case? I'm surprised how he never claimed that he didn't know her. Next, the judge only asked the plaintiff whether she loved this man, and Mr. Brown asserted this fact, but she denied it and explained herself.
You say she's trying to hound you down.
I'm not trying to hound him down. He be calling me for
She
sex.
calling you about the child?
Yes, I do call him about the child. I be trying to see if he come see her or bring me stuff. He say, go find your baby dad. That's not my baby. Stop calling me, and he'll hang up.
So I be feeling like she's trying to, just lure me over there, maybe to have sex with me or something like that.
It's clear that she's young. But girl, you don't have to be so dumb to trade his financial help like this. Get some sense, he's using you. Then, the defendant added more doubts that she was with multiple guys. And to support this, Mr. Brown's brother gave his testimony.
But a couple of days after we had left the club, I'm walking out my apartment complex to go get something to eat. And as I'm walking out, I see Mercedes walking in. And she walking in with a couple of my homeboys from the same apartment complex.
So do you think that that's what they were doing?
I'm pretty sure there's a great possibility that that's what they were doing.
That's not true, Your Honor.
The constant denial of Mr. Brown and immature acts of the plaintiff to survive for her baby were useless, as in this mess, the only life that'll bear the consequences will be her daughter. And to save that little girl's future, the judge read the results.
In the case of Taylor versus Brown, pertaining to 3-month-old Melanie Brown, it has been determined by this court, Mr. Brown, you are the father.
I told you. Can I have that paper, Your Honor?
Well, now I can hold her again.
That is so sad.
As the most gruesome cases in paternity court continue, Miss Serfoso's revelation about her miracle baby, Paternity, and the 3 potential fathers, including Mr. Miller, intensifies the drama. Doubt looms, and with physical evidence on the table, the courtroom is captivated, anxiously waiting to uncover the truth.
So, Ms. Serfoso, I have to ask you this. How do you end up with 3 possible fathers for your miracle baby?
Ma'am, at that time, I do have a past just like everybody else at that time. It was Party Central. When I found out I was pregnant, I was involved with somebody else.
Okay.
In the riveting continuation of this confusion, the tension rises as Miss Serfoso and Mr. Miller present conflicting stories about their past encounters. Baby mama passionately insists they have a friends with benefits relationship, while the defendant denies any recollection of such events.
So was this a one-time benefit, or did they
No, ma'am,
extend?
it happened multiple times throughout months.
It did not happen throughout months.
Because surely you might have forgot or not be able to remember one time, but months?
Yeah, there's no possible way there was months.
Well, how long were you with her?
That night, if any.
The potential father adamantly claims that her daughter bears an undeniable resemblance to Mr. Miller, fueling her unwavering belief in his paternity. However, Mr. Miller denies any resemblance and reveals that he never received any messages about the possibility of being a father. As the truth unravels, Mr. Miller's fiancée uncovers the shocking revelation from her ex.
She never texted me or him or anybody to start with. In December of 2013, I was talking to my ex, who had ended up with Mr. Foso, and he says, well, I'm here with Michael's baby. He was with her for like 2 months.
Okay, so he was in a sexual relationship with her?
Yes.
Called you and said, I'm here with
Michael's baby.
Michael's baby.
The truth hangs in the balance as Mr. Full of Himself vehemently denies being in town during the alleged window of conception. Judge Lake skillfully unravels the timeline, suggesting the possibility of another window of conception in September. Ms. Serfoso's past is brought into question, intensifying the mystery surrounding the paternity of her miracle baby.
His own mother says that she acts like him as a baby.
She comes up with all these stories. She's even told me stories about my own kids' father. In December, she was texting me, telling me that my kids should be told that their father is dead because he had a new life with her and her child.
Ma'am,
that was no longer going to be their baby.
That was never said.
And that is what she said to me.
That was never said.
Well, isn't this a mess?
The tension arises as Mr. Miller vehemently defends himself against the accusation of being a deadbeat father. He passionately proclaims that he takes care of his children, and the courtroom is filled with heated arguments and allegations. Amid the chaos, Judge Lake tries to mediate and emphasizes the need for cooperation to resolve the paternity issue for little Paternity sake.
In the case of Serfoso, versus Miller. Pertaining to 1-year-old Cinity Plaza, Mr. Miller, you are not her father.
Told you. Thank God. Thank God.
So now where's the other man?